Is this a sign that Canada MMA is on the upswing, or was it just kind of an isolated good night for the country?
I thought that it was a really good card for the Canadians. In fact, the Canadians did well the week before. They went 2-0 on the card. It was Series D and Jillian Robertson. And now, this time around, the two underdogs lost. So Kyle Pepelek, who, had a really tough assignment on short notice against Benoit Saint-Denis. It was like a +6 or +700 underdog. Wasn't really expected to win, but the fight hit the over. I think most people thought it would go under 1.5 rounds. It hit the over by just a little bit. So whoever had one of those tickets was probably celebrating. But because Kyle Pepelek, for, whatever you want to say about him, he has a great chin, really, really solid chin. And that held up during that fight. And then Brad Katona lost on the first fight of the night in really devastating fashion. He'd never been stopped before. And Besmat Bekzat Almakhan beat him in like 1 minute and 4 seconds. So that was tough to see because I like Brad a lot. I think he's a real professional, a really talented fighter too. I just don't think he had the opportunity to get going, and that's a credit to his opponent. But the ones that were favored, I think that they overperformed what their expectation was. I think Mike Malott was a moderate favorite around -160, and he really delivered the goods against Charlie Radke. He was winning that fight the whole way through. Had a really high, great highlight reel finish. And then, does what Mike always does, where he just gets really overcome by the moment when he's in Canada and feeds off of the crowd's energy and just really gets into a celebratory mode where he cries pretty much after every fight he wins in Canada because he's so overwhelmed by the response. And then Jasmine Jasudavicius, she beat Jessica Andrade, which I think she was expected to do, but not like that. I don't think anybody's manhandled Jessica Andrade in that sort of fashion. Aside from, I guess, Zhang Weili, when Jessica Andrade lost the title, you don't really see Jessica Andrade lose in that sort of fashion. She just gets absolutely ragdolled. So credit to Jasmine Jasudavicius for getting it done that way. And Marc-André Barriault, like you mentioned, first round KO, a scary KO, really, against Bruno Silva to, I guess, get the Canadians on the board early on in the night. So, I don't know if it's necessarily a changing of the guard, but I still think that we have a lot of Canadians that we can get behind that, we are excited for. Jasmine's getting a little up there in age, but she started MMA at like 27 or 28 years old. Like, she's a really late starter. So the miles are not there. And it looks like she's just getting better and better every single fight. And Mike Malott, I think, is just so dangerous, so well-rounded. I think his cardio is getting better. So a lot of promising signs, I would say, coming out of that event.